20 plants that leave scientists gaping. It was a hot Saturday afternoon in a small town in the interior of Sao Paulo. In the central square, Dona Maria, a lady with grey hair and an easy smile, watered her plants while talking to her grandson, Lucas, a 12-year-old boy full of questions. "Grandma, why do you like plants so much?" Lucas asked, stirring the dirt with a stick. "Ah, my grandson, plants are full of surprises. They do things that even scientists don't really understand," replied Dona Maria, adjusting her glasses. "Like what?" Lucas frowned, curious. "Like, did you know there's a plant that looks like a zombie? She stays still, quiet, but when an animal passes by, man, she grabs it right away." Lucas's eyes widened. "Serious? This is something out of a horror movie." Dona Maria laughed. "No, it's not. It's real science. Want to know more? Let's go home, and I'll show you some photos in my old notebook." In Dona Maria's backyard, among pots of basil and rosemary, there was a hardcover notebook, all scribbled with notes and newspaper clippings. She opened to the page marked with a rubber band and pointed to a photo. "Look at this one, Lucas. It's Dionea miscipula, but everyone knows it as a carnivorous plant. She eats bugs." "What do you mean, eat?" Lucas approached, fascinated. "It has little leaves that look like mouths. When a fly lands, it closes and digests the animal. The scientists are impressed because she knows the difference between a bug and a raindrop. If water drops, it won't close. It only closes if it is food." "Wow!" Lucas exclaimed. "And are there more of these?" "Yes, he has." Dona Maria turned the page. "This one is Mimosa prude. Do you know what she does when you touch her?" "What?" "She shrinks all over herself. The leaves close immediately, as if embarrassed. Scientists still don't really know how it does this so quickly." Lucas laughed. "It looks like a shy plant. And this other one," Dona Maria pointed to a photo of a huge tree, "is Willemia nobilis. It was discovered in 1994 in Australia, and scientists thought it had been extinct for millions of years. It's like finding a living dinosaur." Lucas shook his head. "And is there a plant that glows in the dark?" "Yes, he has." Dona Maria smiled. Neonothopinus gardneri is a mushroom that glows at night, as if it were a lantern. Scientists think it's to attract insects and spread their spores. Incredible. Lucas was thrilled. "And a plant that moves? This is Desmodium gyrans. She moves the leaves all the time, as if she were dancing. Scientists haven't yet figured out why. It seems that plants have a life of their own." Lucas said, excited. Dona Maria closed the notebook and looked at her grandson. "And they do. They are full of mysteries. That's why scientists study so much. Want to help water mine? Who knows, maybe we'll discover a new species here in our backyard." Lucas smiled. "Come on, Grandma. But be careful not to step on the shy plant." The two laughed and went to the mango tree, as the sun began to set, painting the sky orange. Between one watering and another, Dona Maria told more stories. About the plant that survives in the desert without water, the tree that bleeds when it is cut, and even the one that looks like a human brain. "Grandma, you're like a plant scientist," Lucas said, amazed. "Ah, my grandson, I just like to observe. Plants teach a lot. They are strong, resilient, and yet delicate. Like us." Lucas looked at the yard, full of life. "I think I'll start paying more attention to them." Dona Maria messed up her grandson's hair. "That's how it starts. Who knows, maybe one day you'll discover a new plant." And so, between laughter and stories, the two spent the afternoon learning that the world of plants is much more surprising than any fiction film. And best of all, it was there, right in front of them, waiting to be discovered. Lucas picked up a leaf that had fallen on the ground and twirled it between his fingers. "Grandma, what about that plant that looks like a brain? Is she really real?" Dona Maria laughed, wiping her hands on her apron. "Yes, my son. It's called Mimosa pudica, but everyone knows it as Dormidera. If you touch it, the leaves close immediately. It looks like you're embarrassed. Serious." Lucas widened his eyes. "I want to see." The two got up and went to a corner of the yard where there was a small pot. Lucas crouched down and lightly touched a leaf. In the blink of an eye, she closed up completely, as if she were hiding. "Wow!" he shouted, jumping back. "She's really alive." Donna Maria laughed so hard that the lines on her face wrinkled more. It's sore. Plants have their tricks. This one looks like she's playing hide and seek. Lucas kept poking the plant, and it, shy, closed its leaves every time he got close. And why does she do that, Grandma? Oh, it's to protect yourself. If an animal comes to eat it, the leaves close and scare the thing. Or, when it rains heavily, it curls up so as not to hurt the leaves. How smart. Lucas said, impressed. Does she feel pain? Donna Maria thought for a while, looking at the vase. I don't know if it's pain, but they do feel it. They feel the wind, the sun, the rain. Even when we talk to them, some grow faster. Do you swear? Lucas got closer to the plant and whispered, Hey, sleepyhead, don't be scared of me, no. I just want to be your friend. The plant shook a little, as if it was listening. Donna Maria winked. It's sore. She already likes you. Lucas smiled, proud. Then he looked at the yard again, full of plants he had never really noticed. Grandma, what about that one over there? He pointed to a vine with purple flowers. Does she do anything different? Donna Maria followed her grandson's finger and smiled. This is bougainvillea. She's not just pretty, no. If you cut a twig and plant it in the ground, it grows quickly. It's like he's in a hurry to live. Hurry to live. Lucas repeated, looking at the flowers. I like that. The two stayed there, quiet for a moment, just listening to the sound of the leaves blowing in the wind. Then Lucas had an idea. Grandma, what if we plant something new? Something we don't have here? Donna Maria raised an eyebrow, curious. Like what? I don't know. Some plant that glows in the dark. Or that sings when it rains. Donna Maria laughed, shaking her head. Ah, my grandson, you have every idea. But you know something? We can try. Who knows? Maybe we'll discover a new plant secret. Lucas jumped with joy. Then let's go. But first, I need a notebook to write everything down. Like a plant diary. Good idea, Donna Maria said, already going to get an old notebook from the drawer. And you can draw too. Plants love it when we pay attention to them. Lucas took the notebook and a pen, and the two sat under the hose. While Lucas was drawing the closed bed, Donna Maria told more stories. About the plant that eats insects, the tree that bears fruits as sweet as honey, and even the one that only flowers once every 100 years. Wow, Lucas murmured, drawing a giant flower in his notebook. I don't think I'll ever look at plants the same way again. Donna Maria messed up his hair again. Is that so? When we start paying attention, the world becomes full of magic. And so, between drawings, laughter and discoveries, the afternoon passed. The sun began to set, painting the sky orange, and the plants in the yard seemed to whisper secrets just to them. Lucas closed the notebook, with a smile on his face. Shall we continue tomorrow? Of course, my grandson, Donna Maria said, getting up slowly. There's more tomorrow. There's always more. Lucas ran home with the notebook clutched to his chest. The smell of wet earth still clung to his hands. At dinner I could barely keep still. Mom, did you know there's a plant that glows in the dark? He said, putting a spoonful of rice in his mouth. The mother raised her eyebrows. Does it really shine? Like those star stickers? It's not a sticker, Mom. It's for real. Donna Maria said it looks like a firefly, but it's a plant. The father laughed, wiping his mouth on his napkin. That grandmother of yours is a box of surprises. Soon she will tell you that there is a tree that walks. Lucas's eyes widened. Does it have? The mother shook her head, laughing. You better sleep soon, otherwise you won't have the energy tomorrow to listen to any more stories. But Lucas didn't want to sleep. He lay in bed, looking at the ceiling, imagining plants that shine, trees that walk and flowers that only open every 100 years. He took out his notebook again and drew a forest full of impossible things. Mushrooms with rainbow hats, vines that formed stairs, and a giant tree with roots that looked like legs. The next day, the sun had barely risen when he was knocking on his grandmother's door. Donna Maria opened it, still wearing slippers and a bathrobe, with her grey hair messy. "Huh, you woke up with the chickens today, right?" she said, rubbing her eyes. "Grandma, what about that plant that glows?" Lucas snapped, entering without waiting for an invitation. "Where? Can I see?" Donna Maria laughed, closing the door. "Calm down, little guy. First the coffee. Then we go to the backyard." While his grandmother prepared the bread and butter, Lucas watched through the window. The yard looked different early in the morning, more mysterious. The leaves shone with dew, and the shadows of the trees moved slowly, as if they were waking up too. "Ready," Dona Maria said, placing a cup of hot milk in front of him. "Now tell me, which plant do you want to know today?" Lucas bit his lip, thinking, "The one that shines." And, "The one that only blooms once every 100 years. Is it blooming now?" Dona Maria shook her head, sitting next to him. "Not that, my son. This one is hard to see. But there's something here that's almost as rare." She got up and went to a corner of the yard, where a small plant, with thin purple leaves, grew almost hidden. Lucas crouched down, watching. "This one," Dona Maria said, pointing, "is Mimosa pudica. Do you know what she does?" Lucas shook his head. "Touch her." Slowly. He extended his finger and lightly touched a leaf. In the blink of an eye, the leaves closed, as if they were ashamed. "Wow." Lucas jumped back. "She moved." Dona Maria laughed. "So it is. She feels the touch and closes herself to protect herself, as if she were shy." Lucas played again, more slowly. The pages closed again, but this time he saw, they didn't disappear, they just folded, like a book closing. When he removed his finger, they slowly returned to normal. "Why does she do that?" he asked. "To trick the animals that want to eat her," Dona Maria explained. "When the leaves close, they appear withered, and the insects go away." Lucas stayed there, touching and watching, until the leaves stopped reacting. "She's tired of me," he said, laughing. Dona Maria ruffled his hair. "Or else you've gotten used to it. Plants are like that, full of tricks to survive." Lucas opened his notebook and drew Mimosa pudica, with little arrows showing how the leaves closed. Then, he looked at the yard, thoughtfully. "Grandma, and that tree that bears fruit as sweet as honey? Where is she?" Dona Maria pointed to the back of the yard, where a tall tree, with a thick trunk, stood out among the others. "That one is Hovenia dulcis. Its fruits are really sweet, but that's not all." She took Lucas' hand and led him to the tree. On the ground, under the branches, there were little brown balls, somewhat wrinkled. "This," she said, taking one, "is what's left after the fruit ripens. But if you suck it, it tastes like honey." Lucas took one, smelled it and gave it a lick. "Ow, it's really sweet." Dona Maria laughed. "And it's not just people who like it. Birds, monkeys, even squirrels come here to eat. This tree is a party." Lucas sat on the ground, leaning against the trunk, and looked up. "What if we planted more of these? So everyone can eat?" Dona Maria sat next to him. "I already planted it. There's a little seedling there near the wall. In a few years, it will bear fruit too." Lucas smiled. "So we can make a forest of magical plants?" "Why not?" Dona Maria replied, shrugging her shoulders. "The world is already full of incredible things. We just need to take care of them." And so, between one discovery and another, the day passed. Lucas filled more pages in his notebook, learned that some plants give off the smell of rotting meat to attract flies, that others have thorns that inject poison, and that there is even one that looks like stone to deceive animals. As the sun began to set, he sighed, looking at the yard. "Grandma, are we going to discover all the magical plants in the world?" Dona Maria laughed, pulling him close. "Not all of them, my grandson. But we can try. And who knows, along the way, we might invent some new magic." Lucas laughed too, hugging his grandmother. "So tomorrow we start again?" "Tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and every day after that," she said, ruffling his hair. "Because there's always more. Always." The sun had almost disappeared when Lucas heard a strange noise near the jasmine tree. It sounded like a whisper, but it wasn't the wind. "Grandma, do you hear that?" he whispered, pointing to the plant. Dona Maria tilted her head, listening. It seems that Jasmine is mumbling." Lucas's eyes widened. "Serious?" "Of course not, silly," she laughed. "But look." She crouched down and gently poked a leaf. Suddenly, the jasmine gave off a sweet, strong smell, as if it had woken up. Lucas approached and, poof, a blue butterfly landed right on his hand. "Wow!" he exclaimed, almost dropping the butterfly in fright. "It saw." Dona Maria blinked. "Sometimes, the magic is in the way we look." Lucas held the butterfly carefully, feeling the wings flutter. Does she like the smell? Or likes you? The grandmother joked. The butterfly flew slowly, circling over Lucas' head before disappearing into the orange sky. He sighed happily. I think she really liked it. Donna Maria took his hand. Shall we go in? It's getting cold. Just a little more, Lucas asked, looking at the yard. What if we find another talking plant? So we listen, she said, sitting on the porch step. But no rush. The best things happen when we are not looking for them. Lucas sat next to her, resting his head on his grandmother's shoulder. The backyard now seemed like a place full of secrets, waiting to be discovered. And he couldn't wait for the next day. Lucas was quiet for a while, listening to the crickets sing. The wind moved the leaves of the plants, as if they were whispering to each other. Grandma, do you think they really talk? He asked, pointing to the herbs near the guava tree. Donna Maria laughed softly. If they talk, we don't understand. But who knows one day? Lucas poked the dirt with his finger. What if we plant more things? Like, the ones that scientists don't understand? Ah, my curious grandson. She ruffled his hair. We can try. But a plant is not a toy. You have to take care of it with care. I'll take care of it. Lucas got excited. Can we start with the one that glows in the dark? The luminiferous one? Donna Maria raised an eyebrow. This is difficult. It needs special soil, the right amount of water. We learn. He jumped off the step. Shall we go to the nursery tomorrow? She sighed, but smiled. It's okay. But if it doesn't work out, don't be sad, okay? Lucas nodded, but he was already imagining the yard full of plants that blinked, that changed color, that maybe even actually spoke. Suddenly, a small noise came from among the leaves. Like a muffled laugh. The two looked at each other. Did you hear? Lucas whispered. Donna Maria squinted her eyes. I heard what? The noise came again. Tick tick tick, as if someone was lightly tapping a branch. Lucas approached slowly. Among the fern leaves, something shone. Small. Golden. Grandma, he called, without taking his eyes off. Donna Maria stood up, slowly. What happened, son? Lucas extended his hand. Between the green fingers, a small round seed jumped by itself, as if he were dancing. Is she alive? He murmured. The seed jumped a little and fell into his palm. Warm. Throbbing. Donna Maria's eyes widened. Oh, my God. The seed rolled a little, then stopped. And then, very softly, a little voice came out of her. Plant me. Lucas almost dropped it. Holy shit. Donna Maria held his arm. Calm down, Lucas. Don't scare her. She said it. Lucas was shaking, but not from fear. Of emotion. The little voice came again, clearer. Plant me before I die. The two were paralyzed. Until Lucas reacted. Okay. He ran to the nearest pot, dug a little hole with his hands and placed the seed inside. He covered it with earth, pressed it lightly and looked at his grandmother. And now, Donna Maria took the watering can. Now we wait. They stood there, looking at the vase, as if it would explode at any moment. But nothing happened. Did she die? Lucas asked, disappointed. Patience, son. Donna Maria put her hand on his back. Not everything happens when we want it to. Lucas sighed. But then, touch. A little green sprout came out of the ground. Small but strong. Grandma, look. Lucas pointed, jumping. The little sprout grew a little more. Then one more. Until, within seconds, a tall plant stretched out in front of them. Purple, shiny leaves with golden tips. And in the middle of them, a flower opened. A flower that looked like an eye. Hi, the little plant said, in the same voice as the little seed. Lucas was so scared that he fell sitting down. She talked again. Donna Maria laughed, but she was as surprised as he was. Well, I think we just found another talking plant. The flower winked at them. Thank you for planting me. My name is Lumina. Lumina, Lucas repeated, delighted. What a beautiful name. I glow in the dark, she said, proudly. And I can tell secrets about other plants. Donna Maria bent down, fascinated. Do you know what they say? Lumina shook the leaves. I know, but I only tell those who take care of me. Lucas was already on his knees in front of her. "I'll take care of it. I promise." The little plant smiled, or at least, that's what it seemed like. "So tomorrow, when the moon is high, I'll show you what the others hide." Lucas looked at his grandmother, his eyes shining. "Grandma, we are going to have a magical plant in the backyard." Donna Maria laughed, but her eyes were moist. "It seems so, my grandson." And as the sky grew darker, the three of them, Lucas, Donna Maria, and Lumina, stayed there, in the backyard that was now much more than a backyard. It was the beginning of an adventure.